Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today it's time for another live guide, and I will be in Holy Tower very shortly. Holy Tower is a 6-man endgame content in AION patch 6.0. You can enter it through here if you're an Asmodian. In this camp there is an entrance, the camp has to be yours. And also from here if you're an Helios, obviously the equivalent camp, yeah? Cool, you can also enter Holy Tower via the server wide matching, which currently at the moment of this video doesn't work as intended. Now, as I'm recording this video, you have to go to the entrance of the dungeon, and only then you have to click the entrance and then make the group, and then other people from other servers would be able to join you. Why would you go in server wide in a Holy Tower run? I have absolutely no idea, because if your server is not capable of providing you with 5 other people to do Holy Tower, then you're in big trouble, my friend. So as you enter Holy Tower, you're here on this island, and it's a pretty straightforward dungeon, a one boss dungeon without any mini bosses. Then again, same as Narakali, it's only one real boss, but at least it has some mini bosses in between. So Holy Tower, guys, is a dungeon that looks like this. On the platform up there is the only boss, and then we will have to go rounds and rounds and rounds in an upward spiral until we get to the boss. What you can get from Holy Tower, obviously you can scroll over the dungeon entrance and see. You can also have the Shugo here. You can also have the Shugo spawn, the one that gives the Divanian skills. And other than that, you get armor pieces for your class. Holy Tower gives armor pieces, and Narakali is the partner of Holy Tower, which gives you purple accessories and weapons. So from here you get purple armor. Armor is very important obviously in 6.0 patch, because it has a base stat value that has physical attack or magical attack, so it is a dungeon that's really important to be done. Nothing special to talk as we walk upwards, right? You just need to kill these machines. These machines spawn mobs if you're in their vicinity, in their aggro range. As you kill these machines, you move forward, and then when you open another door, another set of machines spawn. The first door contains one of these machines. The second part of the road contains 2, the third part contains 3, and the fourth part contains 4 of these machines. As I say in every video, guys, in patch 6.0, having a gladiator 2, 3, even 4 is an asset. As you can see, the machines are close together, AoE works fine, sorcerers are also pretty nice in this dungeon. However, in terms of class composition, you really don't need a specific class. Even a chanter can heal this if your group is fully decked out in gear. You can even do it, I don't know, 2-man, as long as you have the ability to kite the enrage phase and the last boss if you get to that. Speaking about the last boss, guys, because right now you can actually see the last boss, we're almost there, and the last boss has 5 things that you need to keep in mind for it. 5, let's say, mechanics, yeah, that you need to do. These mechanics, you won't get them all at the same time. You have a chance to get, I don't know, 3 out of the 5 mechanics during a boss fight. You have the chance to get all 5 and 2 times all 5 if your DPS is very slow, right? There is no set timer for this boss that, hey, I need to finish it in 10 minutes or else he one-shots everyone. There is no such thing. However, the faster you finish it, the fewer mechanics you get, the fewer chances for you to fuck up, right? There is an event now. There is also this Pumpkin King, so we're gonna use it while I explain to you the last boss, this guy Nergal right here. So as you can see here in the room, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 of these circles on the ground. Now these circles are important for 2 of the mechanics out of the 5 that I mentioned, and I'm gonna start with those 2 mechanics that involve these circles, yeah? Number 1 mechanic, you can get it in a run or you cannot get it. One of the reasons why I like this dungeon so much is because it always keeps itself fresh. Sometimes there is this mechanic, sometimes there's not, right? So one of the mechanic that I want to mention with these circles is the 6 pillar phase, yeah? So on top of each of these circles, at specific time in the boss fight, appears 1 mob and 1 pillar that you can interact with, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pillars with 6 mobs around them. And at that point, you need to split up in a party of 6. You need to split up 1 person for each pillar, kill the mob, and then do a countdown whether you're on Discord or on TeamSpeak, it doesn't matter. Just do a 3, 2, 1 click right? And then when you say click, everyone needs to click and interact with the spawned pillar after you have killed your mob. The interaction with the spawned pillar is a cast, so make sure that all of the people in the party have their mobs killed before you do the cast. If you're a GG DPS and your pillar is right next to the cleric's pillar, make sure you help the cleric. Maybe he's a new cleric, maybe he doesn't have damage. So, you know, think about it like that to help others. You just kill your mob and you don't care. You kill your mob and you look around, you're a ranged DPS, attack the other mob next to you also, right? You're not gonna lose anything. So at the countdown, you kill the pillars after you kill the mobs, right? You click the pillars after you kill the mobs. Another way of doing this pillar phase where you need to click them is everyone pulls their own mob from their designated pillars and brings the mob to the middle. You pull it with a skill that's not a stun or a root, right? Because then you root it in place next to your pillar. So you pull it with just an auto attack or whatever. You pull it to the middle. You have a spirit master fearing the mobs. You have a sorcerer icing the mobs. These things can also happen. However, how we're gonna do it, since we have decent enough gear for this dungeon to be decent, is a garden gear. Maybe you get a garden weapon plus 10, plus 12. That's also makes you good enough to do this dungeon without absolutely no problems, yeah? Cool. How we're gonna do it is we're gonna kill our mobs individually. They die really fast. So I'm just gonna mark these pillars on the minimap and I'm gonna assign them a name. For example, the pillar here is going to be Koto, yeah? The pillar here is going to be Saivo. And so on and so forth. You mark all the pillars with the people's names, yeah, so they know exactly where to go. Okay, cool. So after all the pillars have been marked, you can, if you are the guy that marks them, you can just delete all of them and then just simply click your name here and you will see that this is your pillar, and then you can close the big map and just have a mini map with where your pillar is. As you can see, my pillar is there, so I need to always go there, yeah. Cool. You can zoom in, zoom out a little bit more so that you can have a clear indication only your location. The second mechanic, guys, really quickly, I'm going to go through it. The second mechanic is at one point you can get it or you cannot get it. Nergal spawns one of those Falusha mobs. We call it the Granny. Now that Granny is very easily to be killed, and the Granny needs to be pulled on top of one of these circles and killed while the Granny is on top of the circle, because after you kill the Granny on top of a circle, no matter which circle, just stand together and decide on one circle together, then this circle becomes an airstream that pushes you upwards if you glide into it, right? So the boss is gonna do a room-wide AoE, at which point you need to be already up in the air, sort of like a Soteras, if you guys remember back in the days, right? The 55 level dungeon. It's kind of the same idea. You need to glide, stationary glide, and then be up in the air when the cast finishes. You can DPS the boss if you kill the Granny so fast. You can DPS the boss until the cast is 75% and then go on top of the circle and glide so you can go up. The third mechanic, and I'm actually gonna enter, we can enter, let me loot my pumpkin also. We can enter, guys. The third mechanic, number 3, 4 and 5, I'm gonna tell you as we go here inside the boss room. The third mechanic is one in which those machines that we killed on the road, yeah, they spawn again. The boss gets again a shield, you cannot DPS the boss, and then there's 5 machines that spawn not on top of these circles, they just spawn randomly around the room on the edges, and you need to kill the machines before they spawn too many mobs that are gonna, you know, kill your tank or kill your cleric, right? So you need to kill them fast. That's a very simple mechanic, absolutely no problem, yeah. The fourth, you can, let's actually start the boss fight. The fourth mechanic is when the boss actually spawns a mob that is called Legate of something, right? That mob that is named Legate needs to be killed immediately, because otherwise we are all going to die, most likely. Now, the fifth mechanic is this is the pillar mechanic. Let me just go to my pillar. Let me just kill my mob. And let's make sure everyone has their mob killed before we do the... Maybe we're not even gonna make it, so you guys can actually see. Click, 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 click. We didn't make it this time. So the boss got an enrage buff because we didn't kill the mobs fast enough, right? So we didn't have the DPS to kill all of the mobs fast. So the boss is now enraged, is doing a lot more damage, especially to the guy who's tanking it. This normally shouldn't be any problem. Yes, a guy or two might die during this phase, but whoever has the aggro before the fight, before this enrage mechanic happen, has to know that he needs to constantly kite. Obviously, if he constantly kites and just runs like a madman without any DPS on the boss, eventually he is gonna lose the aggro unless he is a Templar, right? Because he can taunt while walking. However, if a ranger had the aggro or a sorcerer, they have to either steal DPS or not DPS and just simply run around until they lose the aggro. Then the guy who gets the aggro runs around again. So it is doable, and the boss is gonna stay in rage for 9 more minutes, so that should be until the end of the fight. This doesn't have to stop you. This is a granny mechanic, by the way, guys. See, the granny needs to be pulled on the pillar. So let's all go on the pillar. We kill the granny. This is considered on the pillar, but we don't jump yet. See, the cast is not 75%. Now we jump, and now we go up. The cast is almost done. Everyone should be at this point in the air. If you're not, you're dead. And now you go again to the boss and you continue DPSing. Cool. Let's make sure that people are okay first of all, guys. The last mechanic, the 5th mechanic, is another mob. Unlike the Legate, that mob should not be killed. It's called an attack officer of something. So if an attack officer of something spawns, then you should definitely not kill that mob, because 1 person out of your 6 gets a debuff on top of their head. Now that person with the debuff needs to go to the attack officer and block the cast that he's doing, the cast that is an explosion. These are the machines, guys, yeah? So let's quickly just res up. I gave a walk also for the fast res. The attack officer has a cast that he does. It's a very easy mob to kill, so keep in mind, do not... actually, I'm gonna res her myself. Actually, she has already a res. Anyway, the attack officer is doing a cast. Now, that particular cast needs to be stopped by the range of an aura of the person that has a debuff on top of their head. The person gets a debuff whenever the attack officer spawns, so there is no such thing as, oh shit, nobody got the debuff. One of you does get the debuff. If it's the tank, then the tank goes with the boss on top of him. The tank goes there and actually blocks the attack, blocks the cast, sorry, of the attack officer from happening. If you don't block the cast with the debuff, the attack officer finishes its cast, and then the whole room explodes and you all die. As you can see, the boss is still enraged, so we're gonna have to continue kiting, whoever is tanking. I hope it's not me, because then I cannot focus on talking and kiting at the same time. The boss hits really hard. However, of course, if you have red gear as a tank here, you can just stand still and nothing's gonna happen, even through the enrage, yeah? But you should always try to do that part very nicely, to do that part on a call. As you can see, we failed that totem part because 1 person did not kill their mob fast enough, and I was not there. This is the Legate mob. As you can see, we killed it, and that's how it is. We continue doing our thing. Cool. Other than that, guys, these were all the 5 mechanics. Of course, the boss does some AoE. Of course, the boss freezes a guy like he did with our ranger right here. And if that guy that's being frozen by mistake is, you know, is the next in line with aggro and the tank dies, then the boss is gonna go on the frozen guy. The frozen guy cannot do anything. So you get my drift, right? There are other mechanics, but they're not so important as the 5 that I mentioned. And yeah, that's about it. That's the whole dungeon, guys. And it's not really that hard. And you can do it even fewer people. How do you do the pillar phase fewer people, you ask me? That's a very good question, guys. Well, you don't. You get the enrage buff and then you continue kiting and doing the kite as I told you. If you're super geared in red, absolutely no problem. You can just go ahead and stand in the enrage phase, yeah? But that is how you do it. 5 people, you basically failed the pillar phase and you still keep going like we just did in this run, yeah? Cool. These were all the mechanics, guys, and that is everything I wanted to say about this dungeon. I wish you good luck on drops here. Apparently in our group nobody can loot, or maybe it was even this disconnected person that can loot the boss, but he drops some nice purples, and these purples are quite important for you to be able to finish, for example, the new Makarna, yeah? So come in here, guys. It's a very easy dungeon. Get people from your server, get to know your server, your faction, and so on and so forth. Until my next video, guys, I hope this was helpful. I wish you lots of love, and thanks so much for watching.